Welcome back to Pod with M. Today, joining with us is Dewald Swart, a personal trainer and nutritionist, but he's going to introduce himself.
Hi guys, as you heard, I'm Dewald. I'm a qualified personal trainer and nutritionist for more than 17 years. I studied through the American Council of Exercise. I've got my sport diploma in supplementation and sports nutrition, as well as specialized health nutrition. I've been competing also for more than 15 years since a junior, as that has been my foundation point of what I call it to where I am today as a personal trainer, nutritionist, entrepreneur, as well as a business owner.
That's a mouthful, but good. So let's delve a bit into who you are. Where did everything start? What was personal training your first interest, or?
So to go back to that is, before I became an actual personal trainer, is growing up, actually I'm a Namibian, but I grew up in South Africa because of circumstances here. And growing up there, with having a very low self-esteem, it was more on a physical appearance. And also I wasn't very interested in school when it comes to the educational part. So I had a very much interest, obviously, in sports, athletics since a young age. I was creative. But what got me that low self-esteem was the fact that I never understood why my calves were so big. I know it's funny, but having that age and you see all the youngsters there wearing shorts, all the calves are the same, and yours are. And with, small things of what you do because of the autism as well, the tics that you've got, you have to learn off. It basically got me to a point where I wanted to change things. And the only way to change it was to change on myself. That was basically the point in where it all started. But where it started was when I was 12 years old. Besides all that is my uncle used to be a boxer and used to train. So he had a lot of books. So he gave it all to me. It was encyclopedia of Arnold Schwarzenegger, all the old school 1970, 1980 bodybuilders, from Lee Priest, from Ronnie Coleman, from all the old school ones. And I basically wanted to look like them. And that is where it started, just training, just started exercising, going through school. It was for sports, having that confidence, having that image that got me through high school. Obviously, like I said, I had low self with my calves. But when I get to high school, it was like, whoa, look at that guy's calves. What's happening there? And it built that confidence in having that performance in sports and all that. Training for me personal training started when I saw the first trainers in Virgin Active training other people. And that for me was, listen, that's something that I would want to do, is changing people there, because that's where I started, in a sense of building myself, my confidence up. So how can I expand? But that was the starting point. And I never want to change or do anything besides that, but being into the physical and the performance and the changing. And then obviously 17 years later.
Yes. So you would say that everything started with yourself.
Yes.
You tried to improve you.
That's it. That's where it started.
Anything outside.
100%.
Yeah. Okay. And then you, at that young age, you started, I would say, gymming, interest in that, and you started competing also at that young age. And how did that go?
So where the competing started was, like I said in the first part, is I was training for rugby, for sports and performance, went to a high level of playing rugby. But then always when you go to say provincials or so, it was always something political in there. And that's where I decided, let's go into something that I always wanted to do, but I never had the confidence to actually fully go forward and do it. And that's when I competed in my first competition. And, my first competition, obviously, I did not get chosen because of certain aspects in my body that was out, in meaning the chest was too big or that. And that gave me the broader spectrum of where I had to work on and to compete into my next show. And actually coming top 3, winning juniors as my first, as 19-year-old, it just opened so much more broader spectrums for me, as being, studying into training, working at disc and supplementations, and all that just falling into where I want to be.
Yes.
And but that was obviously the competing part, built a foundation for me forward in body transformations and the sports, obviously, from the training and as it went along the journey.
Okay. So when I had competing and you started building, I would say, you as a person, more confidence and so forth. So what happened after that? Did you start learning personal training? Or?
So I always knew I wanted to be a personal trainer since I was 16. So obviously finishing matric directly, I went into studying personal training. It was a 2 years course that time for a diploma for your national and 3 years to finish for your international. And in that period, it took me, in fact, 4 to 5 years to finish. The reason being is I did not want to do it just with my national qualification. I want to say I would not give personal training until I have the highest there, and that's international qualification. In that period, while I was studying, I was working at Dis-Chem in the supplements, and that's where my love for supplements started, and why hence I went to go study further into sports nutrition, went into study further into health nutrition, because I saw the questions that was asked in the supplement aisle and where the need was. And it does not just arrive about training, but all the aspects around it where you need to focus on if you want to service and work with each different individual out there, if it's medical, if it's a problem, or it's that. And it diversifies more out there, and that's what brings me to a broader spectrum, not just the competing that brought my baseline as my passion, but with the supplements while studying that brought my business in where I want to in direction go forward.
So it's like you had a component of basically a whole business already, just learning to one day run it.
How to comply it, and yes, how to go forward and to put it all structuring
nice.
together.
So how would you then say was the studying? Is there somewhere in Namibia one can study for something similar?
So not in Namibia, because I'm going to be honest, we are still far behind when it comes to that aspect of where you compare to international, compared to South Africa, where I grew up. Because obviously before I came to Namibia, I had a whole journey where I first did my personal training, where I worked through, got my own, started Virgin Active, working to my own studio, leaving it, going to Joburg, working into the whole mining industry, and before I actually come to Namibia. But studying it is, I would rather go as the international aspect. So anything that gives you international diplomacy, that can open your doors, because Namibia is so fascinated here, and they always go for something that is reachable on outside. But if you have the outside spectrum, you can reach it here on the inside of Namibia, because we are, I'm sorry, but so uneducated here, and the only thing is we are misinformed of what really needs to be done. So if we can rather go as an outside and get an international, or even South Africa, and then come back and apply it here, that's what I would say I would do. But it's not something at availability yet, because it's still very new. And that's hence why I always said, if it wasn't for the business, I would go back to South Africa, because trainers as like us are valued as doctors over there. But what I've built to the point of now is what brought the value here, why I can work with doctors and physios and all around, because of the brand that I've built it to the point here. And that's what overall where Namibia has potential.
Good. Nice explanation. I would like to ask, it was first your personal journey. What made you do it for other people? What made you fall in love with helping other people?
So obviously, like I said, when I started I saw how personal trainers were training people, and that was my main starting point towards that. And obviously going through with working in Dis-Chem and getting all the baseline on what the need is there and learning the needs, I learned, okay, listen, I also want to build, because the biggest thing out there why people can't reach certain things, especially from a young age, is confidence, number one. Number two, they don't know where, in what direction they want to go forward. And a lot of things overwhelmed them. And, wanting to change all that aspects, you also learn a lot of things through from yourself, and where you want to change things and how you can change things from yourself. You learn things through your clients that you train, where you can work on, how you can handle things. And, I think working with a lot of different clients also is what built a foundation to where I am now, because of the education you got both ways, not just a service giving or getting paid, but the foundation working around together to both we all basically coming to know.
Okay, so after SA, or the journey of personal training in SA, that came to a stop. Explain more.
So the reason it came to a stop in SA is obviously, like I said, I left to Joburg. I went in a completely different industry. I thought, personal training wasn't for me. Like everybody can think, how can you make money out of personal training? How can you do anything out of that? So you go into a whole different direction. You go into the mining, you go into that industry. And you obviously fail into it because it's not meant for you, and you learn through the foundations. Okay, where do I go back into personal training? And then I started obviously opening the supplement shop, going further in that, and that's when 2020, when COVID hit. And when COVID hit, it hit it bad in SA, like literally to the point where in 6 months, it was completely had to close down. No gyms were open, the supplements were closed. We only could get it as a essential after 6 months. But in that 6 months period, you basically lost your house, your business, the gym, because you had to pay rent, you had to pay employees, you had to pay everything. And so that's where it came to a stop in SA. And when I decided, okay, let's move to Namibia. Don't know yet what I'm going to do, but let's move to Namibia. And yeah, I just packed my bags. My dad's Namibian, and I came out yet knowing what I was going to do.
And how was the journey of, in that 6 months, how did it feel?
Honest with you, you obviously do not feel as bad losing it, because you do still have all that knowledge over the years, but you try to make the best out of it, because obviously you still need to pay rent, you still need to do that. So you're making ways. So with the shop closing, we always still had all the stock. So I could still, make plans, yes, selling. I could still build an online foundation. That's where it started. So even though I lost everything, that's where I decided, okay, how can I further expand my knowledge in making things if something like this happens again? How can I get people out there to know more? And that's when I started using social media more, making videos more, expanding more. In that 6 months, basically, I used the opportunity. Yes, it was down. We couldn't do much, but just to keep on building on what I believed in, and just keep to get that foundation going at the end of the day, because it would eventually stop and it would continue. So that was the main focus, but it wasn't. Like I said, yes, it was hard. There's a lot going through your mind. You just lost all your business. You lost everything. How are you going to recuperate from that? But you also need to take in mind that you have done it previously before. That was not your first rodeo. I have lost 2 studios before I had the third one, and when it came to a stop there. So it was all in my mind with all the books that you read and all the self-education. It's just another obstacle that was in the way.
Okay. And what would you say is your takeaway from all these closing your shops and packing your bags to leave to a new country? That one sentence that would remind you of that journey.
One sentence that would remind me of that journey: to honestly just never give up on what you want to achieve. Always stick to plan A, no matter if the ways you have to do it to change. There is no plan B and plan C. You keep to the one thing you want to do and you make it work. That's it.
A lot of pathways, the goal remains the same.
The goal remains the same, no matter what the pathways are.
Nice. So
it's just the learning points that you have to go through in yourself, and how are you going to overcome it, and especially emotionally, mentally, physically, and all that parts.
Yes. So now sitting in your new gym, if you reflect, do you think you needed all that setbacks, I would say, to come here today?
Honestly, yes. I would have needed all that to come where I would have been today, because if I did not have all that setbacks, I would have stayed in the comfort zone I was in, being just a normal personal training, working hour, had good money, made a good living, but it was no purpose. It was the same clients day in, day out, with no purpose going forward. And the journey I went through, and with the studies and the explanations, it made me on why I became a trainer and a business owner in the first place, what I wanted to do, what I wanted to achieve. Not just having supplement shops and like the one we open next month, not just supplying a broadcast of something of my passion, not just having, but I want to teach trainers out there how you can actually make a business out of it. Because that's the biggest thing I see out there, is why are trainers struggling? Why don't they have yet what I have? Is it the mindset? Is it what I think of? And, I went through a few trainers, asking them, listen, why this? Why are you still in commercial gyms? Why haven't you brought away? It's because of the comfort. And I always had this thing, is I wanted to be more than just a trainer. I want to be able to not just sit out there, but have multiple businesses run, but through teaching trainers, teaching people, teaching them that you can make business out of fitness and nutrition. It just depends on how far you want to take it. Why? The question is, why did you become a trainer in the first place? Why did you become that in the first place? What do you want to achieve through that? And that is the big thing.
Nice. So you're now in Namibia. What is awaiting you?
So obviously, with achieving the gym now to the point where we and my wife reached here, the goal is to, like I said, not just to have another multiple 1 or 2 of them and to keep that aesthetic and the boutiques, but like I said, it's to engage more and helping people to reach what we have as well, to help trainers out there, help people to actually study going in that direction, to show them you can make a living out of it, to show them what you have to go through the same way I did to reach to the point where I am today. Not to be stuck in a comfort, and not to be told, oh, you want to study personal training, oh, there's no money in it, oh, you're not going to make a living. How to deal through those, because honestly, 4 years, 5 years back when I came here, it was told to me what I want to do is not going to work. And like I said, stick to plan A no matter what the obstacles.
Yes.
And if I actually listened to what all of the Namibians were saying, I would not have reached what I've done now. But I saw what the need was and how to overcome it. And that is basically how I built to what is today. And that's what I want to do out there, is to show youngsters, to show them, listen, you can build a living out of fitness and nutrition, and building a better life for yourself as well.
Okay. So from leaving SA to coming to Namibia, how did that few years till now look like?
Okay. It was a rough patch, to be honest. It was good patch, rough patch. It was a learning patch. Obviously through everything from SA, having the foundation, like I said, working in good gyms, making good money, from leaving it, going to Joburg, going to a different industry, having your ups and downs there, going back into personal training, starting from scratch again. Like I said, I've started over multiple times, but every time it was a learning curve. And I always said Namibia had the opportunity. The time just wasn't right for me. And I think the whole journey that I had to go through from SA transcending into Namibia was when COVID happened, because what I learned there was needed, to be applied here in Namibia. But like I said, the timing wasn't right. So COVID made that a reality at the end of the day, to focus more on your health, focus more on your nutrition, focus more on what's the need out there to actually have a better lifestyle. So to come from SA to here, to be honest with you, I always love SA. I always think the opportunity is there. I always think that is a place where you can learn your foundation to start. But what you learn there, you can come apply here, as I mentioned. So to come in here, it wasn't really hard because I always visit here. Namibia was always my home. I just had to bring my knowledge with it. That's the main thing.
Okay. So how did opening the gyms look like? Could you find a venue? Was it just... Where did it start?
So that was where the hard start was, to coming to the gym here. So when I came to Namibia, I started in stables in Okanya because I stayed with my parents for about 6 months. And we rented a space there 2-3 times a week. I just had body weight equipment, machine, not even machines, like kettlebells. My dad still, for the first 6 months, helped me out of his salary to buy what I needed. So it started by just loading the things in the car, taking it to stables, training. In the same time, I got a job by Iron House to give personal training there. So while I was giving in Okanya, early mornings, I'll drive from Okanya to Windhoek. I will come work here, do my personal training, and I'll drive back. And then I obviously decided, listen, I can't go up and down. Personal training here is picking up. I need to choose now. So we left the Okanya because I needed to be in Windhoek. This is where the business and the work started. So I started here. Obviously, I've still had my South African papers, so I could not yet go to Virgin Active because they needed my Namibian ID. And in that period, while we were sorting it out, I was at Iron House, not yet having our own gym, just working as a trainer here, while my wife was doing the boxing still at the CrossFit studio where they shared. Then I moved from Iron House to Virgin Active, and that's when me and her decided, but let's work together. Let's do something, make it easier for her on the rent. And then we basically shared it with a CrossFit studio. But that's how it started here in Namibia. And then they had to leave because the building became a church now, so they had to just move. So we was forced to move. We started looking directly into what the first warehouse we could find, and we got one in Prosperity, just opposite. Small, didn't have much, didn't have machines, had nothing, just functional. Worked from there 6 months, went for a loan, just pulled it from there, went to the second warehouse, split the boxing, split the training, and run it successfully for 4 years until about a month and a half back, we were forced to leave again. The owners just decided selling all their property, and we got 30 days. So eventually the goal was to move into this, because I always spoke to my wife, listen, we need to find a way to not be on hand all the time, but to generate passive income, still while doing what we can and focusing on more other things. So it was a forced leave in a good way to where we are today on this point, yes.
And a month and a half you started here.
Yes, a month and a half back.
Before we go into this space, let's start focusing on BeShaped. The name, what does it mean to you?
So BeShaped Fitness and Nutrition is really the name, and it broadcasts from there, BeShaped Coaching, BeShaped Namibia Supplementation.
Yes.
So obviously growing up, like I said, the low self-esteem and working with a lot of clients, everything comes from the mental aspect, the physical aspect, the emotional aspect, and that's where BeShaped comes from, and where the fitness and nutrition comes, because you have to shape your mind mentally, emotionally around food in order what you want to reach. You have to shape your mind mentally, physically around the training on what you want to reach. It's not just, I'm eating healthy or just training. It all falls around the aspects on why you are doing it and what is needed. And that's the reason for BeShaped, because I had to go through all those foundations to have been able to be shaped where I am today. So it is more a thing of yourself, and that's why I don't compare to other gyms in the sense of when you come here, it's because it's a thing on you. We are here to work on what you want to achieve, and you're not just another number. If it's weight loss, showing the aspects, getting a confidence into that, and not just coming here, okay, what am I going to do now? What am I going to do now? I don't know what to do.
Yes. Okay, so there's a authentic side to BeShaped. You're focusing on the person, not just a commercial gym where
100%.
you just come and do your thing.
No.
Take us through the new space. What is your goal here?
So before we had the new space, we were just a personal training facility gym with kickboxing, because we did not have the overall volume to be able to have a gym to just come in and out. So we had to just work on our services. And with the new space opening up and with everything being higher, we decided, okay, but we still want to keep it aesthetic. We still want to keep it on a personal base. We don't just want members to be overflown and, throw weights around them, because that's not the type of vibe that we wanted to look. We still wanted the fact that busy moms can come here with their kids without having to worry. Doctors can come and train with their sessions, know the work can be done. So everything in here, we try to keep it exclusive, 200 members max. But out of that 200 members, would, for instance, be all of them, they pay their service fee, but 50, for instance, will be personal training clients, where the goals are personally designed towards them. Like when I said, if it's diabetic or that, and 50, for instance, will be group classes. So the goal is to service each individual in what the need is. If it's just generalized fitness, if it's nutrition, if it's just boxing fitness, but to keep it in that aesthetic space where you don't have to come and wait for machines. You come, you get your workout done, and you go. And it's planned because we do everything.
Yes. Okay. So in this new gym, what are you offering? Is it personal trainer with nutritionist or separate? Those are separate.
You can basically see us at BeShaped Fitness Nutrition as you go to a practice. So when you go to, say, for instance, medical CMC in town, you've got your dentist, you've got your dietitians. Now, obviously, I'm a qualified nutritionist, I'm a personal trainer, all that. So exclusive members only to 200 members, but you have your options that you got. So if you just want gym, then you have a membership just to train. You come and you do your thing, that's it, and you go. Or you can have the option where you have the membership and I design your program on what needs to be reached. A lot of things that other gyms don't do. It's just commercially come and you do. So at least you come in here and you know what to do. Every month I assess you and I'd redesign your program again. Or you take the personal training package, where I mentioned the personal training package is more on a personal side where it's not generalized to the rest. For instance, if a client is diabetic, it's a personal program designed to that. And it's a personalized nutrition program that's needed on that client, because you can't just generalize it again because she has specific needs. Or if a client has osteoporosis, a whole different bone density decrease, again, I can't generalize it, so she falls under personal training. Everything that either has medical or sport or that has personal need to it. But then we also offer group fitness, endurance, and kickboxing fitness, where people love to just come and train and sweat, but we know we're engaging in all the muscles, they're working the cardiovascular, and we also add then a generalized nutrition to it, unless you have, again, a personal need and you need to come book a consultation with me like a dietitian, and we go through your assessment, we go through your needs and how I can design and help it forward.
Nice. So I can come here feeling that I'm taken care of.
100%.
Yes. And I'm also reaching my goals.
Yes, that's the main thing why you're here. I mean, if you don't reach your goals in 6 months to a year, that means I'm a bad trainer and nutritionist.
Yes. Okay, so okay, I gym, not as much, but yes. I had the different opinion to I can just gym and nutrition was just a sideline thing. But explain to us why those two work together.
Okay. Very easy, and let me ask you this first. Why do you gym? What's the reason? Confidence. Mental health. Okay, so you're not going there because you want to improve your body image. You're not going there because you want to have more performance in training. But how do you know what to train then? Because now you're just going and you are training what? On the treadmill. But it's not either good for your mental health for that. So the structuring is completely wrong over there. So how it falls together is firstly why we train, why we need to go, and then understanding the basis around that. Now, because your specific goal will be mental health, confidence, feeling better, all of that feels around. Now, unfortunately, feeling better, mental health, comes around body image as well. It comes about how you feel and represent yourself and how you feel in your clothes. So we will have to take the approach of adding at least 2 to 3 days of resistance training. We don't need more because we're not training bodybuilding. Yes. We also want to add cardiovascular, we also want to add fitness, we also want to add flexibility. Yes. So we want to overall generalize your program to a complete balance that's needed. So it means we need strength training, we need mobility, we need cardiovascular, all the aspects for a healthy performance individual. Now, with all that being reached, the body can't reach that without the nutritional side. Because if you eat bad, your body will feel bad, you will feel bad, you won't recover. So whatever we do here needs quality nutrition in order to perform when it comes to recovering the body, giving the body performance, helping the body with the energy, the thinking and how it feels in the cell, detoxing it. So we all look at the general healthy approach. So that's when it comes to you. Now, when it comes to training and nutrition, now let's go back to my previous one when I said a diabetic. Now let's say the client is obese, she's diabetic, and she has osteoporosis. How are you going to assist and help the client? Number one, I need to know how to train her because she has bone density that's low in osteoporosis. How am I going to structure it? I can't push her too hard, otherwise we're going to have XXXXX. Then I need to work on nutrition because we need to lose weight. But we need to lose weight in the same way of educating her on nutrition and what's needed and how it all falls together to lose weight, feel better, and how to function on this side. And that's how it works together, because we can't now have a great training program, increase her muscle mass, but she has a bad nutrition and she's diabetic. It means we will not recover, we won't increase bone density, and number one, we won't lose fat.
So you would say, I can't reach my goals if I'm not focusing on both of them.
100% correct, you can't.
Yes. So you said you made a lot of money in SA doing personal training. Would you say it is as lucrative or sustaining here in Namibia?
Okay. So when it comes to that, and yes, it is. But you first have to find again your reason why you became a trainer. Why I said you need to see the market, analyze it. That's where it came from me, not just being a trainer and seeing great money, but why I became a trainer nutritionist and how I can make a business from that. So with where I studied and my experience and the years and what I've achieved, and if you go Google that as well and see further why I want to reach things here when it comes to nutritional side, I'm supposed to charge anything between 500 to 1,000 an hour just for my expertise. In SA, we had a more global space, meaning sense of more people, more of international. So for me to make 1,000 Rand an hour there for my expertise was very easy because that was what was the need out there. Over here, people don't see and why they need to pay a trainer 1,000 Rand yet. But that is why I've pulled it into a brand and a business and what is value. For instance, I train people with cerebral palsy. Their fee is much higher. Why? The risk is higher. If you get injured, I get sued. If something is there, it depends on the risk where it is. It's the same as a medical doctor. It's the same as you go see a physio at the end of the day. And that's why I don't go generalize just on personal training like any other virgin training. You can make money, yes. But if you really want to succeed in it, you need to find out why you want to become one, what you want to build, like what I did, and all the different spectrums I'm working in. Like I said, I work with medical doctors when they send their clients to me. I work with physios to help fix their problems. So it all depends on where your next, and the value in Namibia comes when you have a business and you have built the value. So if it's just personal training, yes, you are going to struggle because you need to learn the foundations as I did in SA.
Yes.
This is 17 years of experience, going through the ins and the outs and the failures, learning the clients, learning what's needed, learning that you won't always get clients, learning that they will also have financial problems and. But once you find out what is and where you want to focus on, then yes, you can make a good income in Namibia, because he has a lot of cyclists, he has a lot of different sports, a lot of that. I found the need for me, why it's lucrative in Namibia, is the confidence, people changing their minds. They don't know how to eat healthy, they don't know how to train. And that's where I come in on that. I give them the education on wanting to show them how to eat right, how to train right, that you don't need me after 6 months.
Yes.
I want you to know how to do it forward.
Okay, so you would basically say that a personal trainer should sit down and ask himself questions like why, what, when, to know what he's bringing to the table and to fill a gap, and not just do personal training.
100%. Let me tell you that, because everybody is so fixated on what they see online, social media. You know, the trainers just getting qualification and going social media like the online coaches.
Yes.
But what have you yet to show for that? It's not just having a qualification, it's having the building blocks before that. About 6 weeks back, I was in SA. So I had to go do some papers there, and I go to one of my favorite gyms there. And one of the guys actually there came to me, and he was a personal trainer. And he says, listen, I follow you online with your things, and I just want to ask a few things. Like, he's young, he just finished now, and he's like, and how do you go to clients? How do you approach clients? And I said, listen, my friend, I've never approached a client in my life. And he's like, and how do you mean? I was like, why did you become a trainer? What have you applied? Like, I've went for the foundations, wanting to become where I want to be, building my body where it is. The work has been put in. Everything is there. The people can see the value. That's why. And that's why they approach me on what I have been put in already. So I asked him again, why have you become a trainer? Because I can tell you exactly why I have become one and why the clients will come to me. And that is what you have to focus on. Is it in a way of because of sport, health, or body transformations? Why did you become a trainer once again? Because if you don't know that, you won't be able to build a business or any foundation out of that, or be able to help people if you can't even apply it to yourself.
Yes, it's like an obese personal trainer.
100%.
Not to touch anything.
Not to touch anything, but it's the same as you go to a dentist and their teeth looks bad, worse than you, or you go to a hairdresser and it's even worse than you.
Yes.
You know, you need to, you'll feel the value what someone applies, and by seeing it, and you automatically will go to that person.
Yes. You're selling
You're
your
not
business,
100%.
basically.
I do not need to convince you or sell you anything, because it's already been done.
Yes, makes sense. An inspiring story for someone listening that had a business but doesn't have the confidence to start over again. What would you tell them?
Honestly, it is a hard question to actually answer, because I've been through it many times. But what I always say is, again, stick to plan A. Why did you become one? What do you want to achieve, and how are we going to reach it? Because everything we do, and we don't have to see it as failures. We need to see it as stepping stones of building you forward for a better future and what you want to reach.
Yes.
Like, for instance, all the businesses I have lost previously, with all the obstacles, it was learning blocks for me to see where I'm going to improve on. Where did I do wrong? Where do I need to improve? And just not to give up. It's easy to give up. As I tell people, it's just as easy to be positive as it is to be negative. But why do we always choose to be negative? Because it's easier. because it takes effort to be positive. It takes effort to start again. But ask the questions, learn, invest in yourself, improve where needs to be improved. And if it wasn't for all that I had to go through, and still studying further, I'm still studying until today, always improve yourself in where you can to give people more out there, and just don't give up. No matter if you fall back again 2-3 steps, I've been there many times. I promise you're going to get a tenfold back as long as you keep going. Just don't give up. That's the main thing. You can't. It's like I said, if you give up, if you go and you fail, at least you tried.
Yes. So what is BeShaped looking like for the next 2 to 3 years?
So BeShaped hopefully will expand into a much bigger prosperity going forward, not just in having more multiple gyms that I would love to franchise out, but also to have more supplement shops going out. In the meantime, while I say that, is to employ more people, helping them in the fitness industry, helping them to explain more about fitness and nutrition and supplementation. And like I mentioned earlier, I would like to go more into the nutritional aspect of what Namibia needs, and that is in malnourishment in children under 5, and malnourishment in obesity, and as well as how can we help as a country to feed systems out there when rural areas can't help themselves, and to give you nutritional food and to actually get the quality nutrients out there. Because if we have quality nutrients going out there, we will have less on medical bills, less on problems, less on any medical actually problem or condition out there by just focusing on our health and nutrition.
And touching on supplements, what's your opinion of it? Because the only one I can remember is that it's bad.
Bad. Let me ask you why. Why you remember it's bad, and who says it's bad, and why you think
it's just the narrative being sold out there. If you're starting with supplements, people are just, it's bad.
100%. It's because of the misconception and miseducation out there again regards it. It's the same as when you are sick. Do you go to the pharmacist and ask him, what do I need?
Yes.
Do you take it?
Yes.
You have just supplemented on healthy medication.
Yes.
The word supplement means it's additional to help. So you just supplement on medical medication to help. It's the same as we supplement on performance enhancements to help us recover faster, to help us to give more strength and performance, and to help overall depending on what goal ours has. It's the same as when people go to the doctor and they use XYZ, if it's aesthetics or Botox or that, it is again a supplement to better appearance. But it's equally bad, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
But in reality, it's not. It's the misconception that we have as people out there and what we put on it, because we don't understand what it actually does. And it's the same with nutrition. I get a lot of times out there when I ask people, how's your nutrition looking like? Okay. So then is when we supplement, because our nutrition is not 100% correct. Now we need a supplement. But if our nutrition is up to par, we do not need supplementation. Depending again, are you an athlete? Are you obese? Are you anorexic? Are you an XYZ in what medical condition? Will depend if you need a supplement and what you would need. But no, I would not just jump on something or just use because it's a supplement unless you know why and what direction you're going
it's
forward.
More just a vehicle to your goal.
100%. It's just
bad.
a vehicle.
Yes.
It's not going to get you the results. It's not going to give you anything. It's just going to help you to recover quicker and to get the results faster.
Okay. And BeShaped coaching, is it just what you do at BeShaped Gym, or is it also online?
So that is where, when COVID hit, where I decided, how am I going to expand, reaching more people out there, and not just having here in-house, because having a personal trainer is a luxury. I'm going to be honest. Not everybody can afford having a personal trainer. Not everybody can afford having group classes, but a lot of people can afford to pay for a program, to pay for a knowledge, to invest in themselves. And that's where the BeShaped app comes in. And like I said, it's fully done. It will still launch this year. I still need to finish the videos and a few things, but that's where I can target more of a global basis. So everything that I do here, I will do on a global basis. So you mail me, you send me what you want to reach, what you want to do, still on a personal level, and I design your program accordingly to where you are, what you want to reach, what you have in, and like I explained to is it again, what conditions you have. And that program will be personally designed to you, and every 6 to 8 weeks we do reassessment, rechanging, and as we're going forwards. So no, coaching is for anyone out there that is not here on hand with me, but want that result and the education going forward.
Okay. That's nice. So I can sit in Rehoboth and I can still reach you.
You
So
can,
makes
100%, and still know exactly what to do.
Yes, that's nice. So, Pod with M has a creator question at the end of an episode where we open it to what someone you need or something you need, which maybe someone watching it out there can reach out to you because of the platform.
I'm going to be honest. What I think it's needed, and with a lot out there, is people with vision and support. To the point where I have built it today is because of vision in what I'm seeing, and vision out there, and where I can also, expand and helping others. And I would not necessarily want or need a partner if it comes to that, or because of more clients. I would like to have more people with the same vision to partner with in fighting the same similar goals that's out there, and to see that, listen, we are not competition compared to each other, because there are more than enough people here to service. And I promise you, I can't train all 600,000 people in Namibia or in Windhoek. Everybody has a different need. But what I would like is us as fitness organizations to stand together in helping what is the cause and the need out there, and able to work together and say, for instance, like, you know what, go to that massages. She is exponentially good into helping you exceed there. Or that one, so you know what, go to that one. He supplements or that. So I would like to rather have a visualization of partnerships and collaboration in fighting what the need is out there to improve the need out there.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dewald. It was a pleasure having you.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.